Hello and welcome back to another LEGO Unbox, Unbag and Build Per Bag. This time I'm here with set 75249, the Resistance Y-Wing Starfighter, which came out a little bit before the movie, around October 2019. The movie I think then came out in December 2019, which is something LEGO just always do. They almost ruined, one of the Avengers movies, I think it was Civil War. They ruined Civil War for some people because nobody realised that Ant-Man went big until about a couple of months or weeks before the movie when LEGO released this set with Ant-Man Giant. So they're kind of making a habit of releasing things a little bit earlier than the actual showing of the thing they're releasing, if you know what I mean, if you're following me there. But yeah, to be honest, the main reason I got this set though was because of the astromech droid and the First Order snowtrooper with cape. I saw them separately on their own without being even related to the set, and I just thought, yeah, they're very nice figures and I want them, and there's just no way about it. Like, I think I want Dio as well, even though I really don't like Dio as a droid. But, you know, it's kind of what it is. I would say Zori Bliss as well, but I have Zori Bliss. The design seems to be an awful lot more sleek than it was in the past, and the colour scheme is nice. I think I prefer the yellow just because it's a bit more kind of closer to home, if you know what I mean. Like, it's kind of more familiar. But that's kind of more of a Star Wars thing, not a LEGO thing. The colour scheme, you know, it's not their fault. They did a good job on this one. Yeah, kind of odd enough selection of minifigs here because, you know, Poe Dameron, you're getting in every set. You're getting in every Resistance set, I think, most of it. It's kind of the new R2-D2. Zori Bliss is a lovely figure. I would be more like keen on getting it for Zori Bliss, but I got the Microfighter with Zori Bliss, which kind of drives down the price, which isn't ideal for a lot of people because it is such a nice figure that it should deserve to kind of be up there in the higher prices. But also the First Order Snowtrooper here, I think he was only kind of showcased in the movie. I don't really think he was that prominent in the movie, but, you know, it's kind of nice to throw in there. I think it kind of drives the price up as well a little bit. The Astro Droid, nobody knows his name, if he's canon, if he was in the ship at all. I think LEGO just kind of threw him in there, and not saying it's a bad addition, but it is, like, it's nice. It's not, the colours are nice, and it's, you know, an interesting little droid. Dio, of course, I think is only in this set because they had to kind of use up the figure. I think he just appeared in this movie, which is why they kind of threw him in here. But during the scene that you see her flying this ship, there's actually nothing else there anyway. It's literally her flying the ship, and she's in it for a few seconds, really, in the movie. And it's kind of, everything's in the air, so you don't really see any of these characters on the bottom. And also, during that scene, all the First Order Stormtroopers are actually Sith Troopers, and they're red, so that's why the figures don't really make sense. But again, I kind of think I explained why they're probably here, and it's good to see them here. But yeah, let's get on to the rest of the box. So on the top of the box, pretty standard stuff. You got one minifigure showcased there. You got your print, you got LEGO Life on the side there, which is nice to see. You got all of your small print, of course, on the bottom there. And you got a little bit of a view of the ship there, but nothing different from what you see on the front. Now, on the back of the box, we will just have a little look at what's here. It shows you, of course, all the little boxes that it comes with to show you what the functionalities of the set are. And typically, it comes with a kind of action scene, I suppose, laid out on the back, and another view of the Starfighter. All fairly typical stuff to see on a LEGO set, to be honest. You can see that on the bottom corner, very typically, it has the lego.com/Star Wars to show you where to buy more, and that is down here. Also the Disney logo on the bottom corner. Nothing too crazy. You can see that it's kind of outlined with this kind of black, I'm not sure what to call it, but LEGO bits all around it. It seems to be kind of the way LEGO have been going for the last while, and I really love it. I don't know how they actually made that in person, but it's really nice to see because, like, if you look into it in detail, you can actually see some pretty cool parts in there and some nice kind of techniques and nice kind of design in that as well. Like, if you want a little close-up of that, I can try and kind of give it to you there. If we can maybe show you. So you can see some kind of nice looking pieces on there, and the way they've done it as well, I think they've I would assume that they've done this either on an app or in real life. And I saw something on a documentary recently. Actually, this might be a bit interesting to some of you. They made, I'm going to say, the words Lego on one of their walls, and they used that exact same style. They used all little pieces on a big sheet, and they kind of just designed it like that, but of course it was just in a frame of LEGO. And I think that's probably either where they got the idea, or there's definitely kind of some crossover there with that technique, and it's just beautiful. I'm not sure what documentary, but look, there's been a load of documentaries that have come and gone, so I can't exactly be remembering all of them. So let's get into the opening. And from the back of the box to the unbox. Let's see what we have in here. Okay, so not a lot of bags. Not a lot of bags at all. The instruction book is in a weird kind of orientation, a weird angle there. Usually it'd be kind of more landscape than portrait. It seems bigger than than I thought it would be. You get your stickers here, and most of them, I'm just gonna are most of them white or most of them clear? Okay, yeah, they're white. They're not clear. They're not see-through. But yeah, it seems like we get 4 bags. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 bags. So yeah, you get 1 instruction book as per usual. You get a sticker sheet. Unfortunately, you get 4 bags, and that seems to be all. There's no pieces out in the open, and there's no secondary bags for any of the sets. So I suppose we can just get straight into opening up the bags. Bag number 1. So, bag number 1, and for the big side, we don't really have an awful lot of unusual pieces, but, I'll lay them out for you here anyway. Like, this part is interesting. I'm assuming we've seen it before, but, it's a little bit interesting. You got these little parts here, which are more on the rare side, but of course not rare at all, really. You can get them anywhere you want. You can get them on Bricklink, or somewhere I got was Toy Pro. Yeah, and you get your brick separator in your first bag, as per usual. You get your snow trooper, surprisingly enough, in your first bag. Usually they give you the kind of lesser characters first, and then kind of work on the way up. But to be honest, it seems like that trend seems to be changing a little bit. Yeah, so we also have this box here, which contains the beautiful white cape. We'll get into that in the review, and I'll show you how kind of soft or hard it is, and we'll show you what kind of material it is. And in the small side, we got no printed pieces. We've got his little satchel there, Poe Dameron's little satchel, and his hairpiece. We've gotten this silver blaster, which I think is really nice. I don't understand why they don't really do more of the silver blasters, but I have not got a lot of them in the last while, and that's kind of, it's nice to see it here. It really is. And we found officially the hardest minifigure to make to date. I mean, this is impossible. I don't even know where to start there, but yeah, that seems to be it for bag number 1. Let's get just straight on to the build, because there's not really that much exciting in here. Seems to be held together by Technic, which is always good, because a nice Technic frame always just keeps the set together well. So at the end of bag number 1, we have our Snow Trooper. Thank God, it looks beautiful. We have Poe Dameron, and we have our Dio minifig over there in the corner. Beautiful looking minifigs, really. Maybe not Poe Dameron, because it's just plain. I'm not really a fan of that. Like, the torso print is good, but we also have essentially what will turn out to be the skeleton for a lot of it. We can already fit the Astro Droid in there. That's where he's going to fit by the looks of things. And of course, making this part attached there, and this part then joining them together, and then sealing them with that. Kind of typical enough Technic building structure there, typical building techniques there. But yeah, that's all we have really at the end of bag number 1. We also have the mechanism to drop the bombs, which is nice and sturdy. It's not flimsy. It's not going to move on its own. There is a bit of resistance to it, but not enough resistance for it to break or to be difficult to move or anything. But yeah, that's all for bag number 1. That's all for bag number 1. We have our spare pieces here, and 1 here. That's all for that. And we get on to bag number 2. So bag number 2 here, and again, nothing too crazy. We have fairly standard enough pieces here. Again, this piece, assuming for the bottom of the cockpit there. Also this piece, again over there as well. Probably for more of the skeleton, which is nice to see. We got this kind of curved tile there, which is interesting. Yeah, otherwise it's fairly standard enough. I can kind of give you a little close-up of it all, but nothing really too crazy. You can see there that also they have these as well, the spring-loaded shooters. And also then we have the small parts, one printed tile here, assuming for inside the cockpit. I can't imagine it going anywhere else. Some vents there. Again, nothing too crazy. Maybe the fact that these are red, those little pieces are nice in red. Of course, the colours that LEGO use are generally nice and vibrant anyway, and it's kind of one of the pull for a lot of customers. But yeah, I suppose we'll just get straight on to the build, so nothing too crazy in this bag yet. So at the end of bag number 2 here, we can see that the cockpit is really starting to kind of line up there. The printed tile is in there somewhere. And we didn't really do much on the back here, maybe a few kind of tiled off bits there, but yeah, the top of it I'm really liking, the bottom of it not so much. I mean, just, I don't know how to describe it, but it just doesn't really sit right with me, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much all we have. Like, there's not really much else to say. We've used, as you can see here, these amount of stickers. Otherwise, there's nothing too crazy in it, nothing too wild. Standard enough kind of techniques used the whole way along it so far. But nice, it is still satisfying. It is still a satisfying build. It's not a boring build by any means. But yeah, I suppose now your spare pieces here. That's all we have there for this bag. And that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the third bag. So bag number 3 here, and I will say that so far it's been a very quick build. Now the interesting piece here is the printed cockpit windshield, or whatever you want to call it. This is exclusive to this set alone. Like, it hasn't been in a different set. Like, the actual piece itself has been in plenty of sets, but this print is exclusive to this set. It hasn't been in anyone since and wasn't in anyone before it, which is really nice to know. Also, you can see some sticks there. There's not an awful lot of interesting pieces other than that. Pretty standard enough kind of build here by the looks of things. And we have the small pieces side, and you might think like, oh, take them out. They're actually one piece. They're actually one piece. Yeah, they're already connected. I thought that it'd be a case of attaching them together once you got the pieces in bag, and I thought that's how you'd make the stand. But no, it's not. Otherwise, no printed tiles there, unless of course that this is printed. No, but it is the, with the kind of gold bar tile, which is interesting to see. Otherwise, not an awful lot interesting with this bag. So at the end of bag number 3, and I wanted to build the bag and tell you all of the stuff about it afterwards, because there was I just wanted to do it like that, and I was able to do it like that because none of the things I want to show you are covered over. Now, the interesting techniques is this little bit here. It's not really an interesting technique, it's just a kind of nice way they've added in that little detail. It's clipped onto the bit there that, well, actually I can show you the piece because there's fortunately a spare part. So it's clipped onto this little bit here, and it's the kind of substitute droid arm that you see there. It's been used as a droid arm in other droids. These little clips here holding on to all these poles are very nice. It's very nice the way they've done that. They've added this tile upside down, which is essentially this tile. You know the one I'm talking about. It's got a little hole in the middle, but it's very interesting the way they've done it upside down there. Otherwise, it's kind of just nice the way they've added in all these little poles here and the little details. I will say it gets a little bit more confusing building this part because there's so many grey bits that just kind of all look the same, and you're kind of looking at the instruction books hard enough trying to figure out where exactly these pieces go. But end result is very good. I'm assuming now we're going to make the 2 engines in the last bag because we have made pretty much every other part of it so far. And we're going to make the droid and Zori Bliss. We see the cockpit is finished entirely by the looks of things. And yeah, again, kind of confusing getting here, but otherwise not that difficult, and not a lot of cool techniques used apart from the kind of the bits I did mention there. And just to look at your spares here as well for this bag, a good bit of spares here for this bag compared to the other bags, which is nice to see there. We didn't use any more stickers, but I'm assuming now we'll be using all of them in the next bag because we are on to the final bag. So bag number 4 is the fourth and final bag, and to be honest, the whole bag is kind of interesting because you have these kind of tiles here, there. You have these chrome, well not chrome, but like very shiny silver kind of pieces there would be nice. Yeah, and a lot of these, like, it's a very interesting bag for the sense it doesn't have an awful lot of standard bricks in it at all. Like, a lot of them are kind of unusual, like, they're kind of, this brick here, these are nice colour. These bricks, all these circly bricks, are all kind of strange, you know? They're all kind of the other end of the spectrum. But yeah, it's very interesting to open in this bag and kind of spreading the pieces around and just noticing there's less and less, like, normal bricks. Even this would be closest to normal that there is in the bag, and it's like rigid and circle, you know what I mean? It's different. Like, we can see Zori Bliss's helmet in here, and most of the unnamed Astro Droid, which I hope to God they'll give a name at some stage, because I tried to find out a bit of information for this video on him, but it just didn't work. It just didn't work at all, because nobody knows anything about him, and Lego haven't said anything about him, and Star Wars haven't said anything about him, so that's interesting. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, well, personally for me anyway. There's 2 different bags of small bits, and they're separated like so. But this bit, so we've got the standard enough kind of looking brick there, but then there's a hole in the middle of it, and I thought that was quite interesting, and I was wondering where else did I see that before, or did I see that before. And along with this one is another kind of interesting piece. Now, this piece here has actually been in the UCS Batmobile, the UCS A-Wing, the brick-built Yoda, the Master Builder Cloud City that recently came out, and the Lambo Cyan. As soon as I seen it, I was like, that was definitely in the Cyan. I didn't build the Cyan, but you can just tell kind of what pieces would be in it. I'd say most of the price is in the kind of strange enough pieces that are involved in the set. That's what I think. But this was also in the UCS sets. This piece that I was talking about was also in a couple of UCS sets. It was in the Master Builder series, the Cloud City, that came out recently, and it was in the newest X-Wing and Millennium Falcon UCS editions that came out as well. So that's kind of an interesting little fact. You can see there that there's the pink translucent pieces in there. Otherwise, it's a standard enough kind of lot here. There's nothing too kind of crazy there. Possibly these bits and the head for the Astro Droid, but otherwise it's standard enough and not that crazy. But still, it's a very interesting bag, and I'd say it's the most interesting looking bag in the set. But again, nothing rare, like nothing that rare in the bags apart from the 2 pieces I mentioned in the small side. But yeah, so let's get on to the final build. Let's see what this one holds. So, at the end of bag number 4, and we are done. So, as you can see, we've used all of the sticker sheet, and we built the engines, essentially, in this bag. Let me think. Yeah, just the engines. We didn't put anything onto the sides or bottom or anything like that. We've filled up the spring-loaded shooters here in the bottom, but that's not really, you know, major. We did this was interesting to build, but to build 8 of these at the same time. These 2 engines are actually different only because they're slightly inverted. Like, the sticker is kind of the main part, and you have to build them separately to each other, but everything else then is build 2 of, or 8 of, or 6 of, or whatever, you know. Fun little build. I will say it's a very satisfying build, building all of this when it comes out in the end. But this part, making these, is a bit kind of tedious, and also sticking them on to the sides is a bit kind of wonky. Sometimes you just want to kind of get that accurate, especially if you have the OCD kind of sense of Lego building as I do, or many other people. But yeah, otherwise you can see then we've also made the torpedoes in this bag, and that's pretty much it. There's not an awful lot to say. It was fun. It definitely was a lot of fun to build, but not any crazy techniques in it. It was fairly kind of a standard enough techniques in it, and you can see there that we've also built our Astro Droid and Zori Bliss. We also have our spare torpedo there, which is nice to see, and two small spare bits, a spare gun for Zori Bliss and a spare little kind of hand looking piece, droid hand. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We can give you a look now at the back of the instruction books, and it shows you the spring loaded shooters and all there, and how to drop them. Shows you a little bit of some other stuff there, showcases some of the sets and some of their minifigures. But yeah, nothing too interesting. Of course, 2020 is a lie. It was coming out in 21, and yeah, nothing too crazy there in the back of the book. But yeah, that's it. And just give you a little look at the spare parts for the entire bag. Thanks a million for watching my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below if you think there's anything that needs to be said. Thanks a million, guys. See you again. Take care.